Well, hello everyone. Here we are for Joy Workout number 44. Very excited to be here. One of our members has asked me to make a page at the Joy Based Living website dedicated to the emotional ladder. And I was like, I don't know why I didn't think about that before. In fact, I'm going to be putting it on the front page of the website. It's going to be the central point of everything because everything we do, I mean, if you're here at Joy Based Living, it's because you either want to access more joy, or you want to generate more joy, or you want to sustain more joy. And I think the reason that the emotional ladder, which I also call the emotional scale, I think the reason that it never gets old is because we are navigating emotions all day, every day, from the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, and then even when we're dreaming. They're kind of like notes on a scale. We are embodiments of emotions. And even if we've shut them down too much, then our bodies will start expressing by either exhaustion or disease or something. The emotions are going to come out one way or another, and they will be expressed. And when we're seeking for more joy, what we're doing is we're saying we don't want to live on the bottom part of the ladder. We want to live at the top part of the ladder. And then what dawned on me is that everything that we have done at Joy Based Living since the day we started has been moving up the scale. So if you're down at the bottom with shame and powerlessness, well, the sanctuary book is a good thing to do. If you are just in a general arena of, hey, I want to access more joy, that's why we have, yeah, watch me carry too many notebooks. That's why we have the 12 practices. And specifically, practice number 8. It talks specifically about how to navigate the emotional ladder. And specifically what it says here is feelings don't want to be healed. They want to be held. And it takes a huge amount of courage. Hold your feelings to set them free is what I titled this. It takes a huge, huge amount of courage sometimes to face your feelings, including letting a feeling of joy sustain itself. And I think the reason also that it never gets old is because we live in a culture that relies more on fear to survive and to get things done. And I wanted to talk about the historical perspective of the emotional ladder and why I think it's becoming more of an acceptable practice these days. If you think about a couple hundred years ago, emotions were not at the top of the forefront of our minds. We had to survive. So whether we were surviving elements, if you just even think about the outfits that people wore, we didn't have air conditioning, right? We were surviving elements of the atmosphere, of whatever could harm us. We were surviving having to grow food or find food, hunt food. And so there was more of a survival experience that we each needed to be in touch with, I think. And then we moved into the Industrial Revolution and then kind of got herded into these big city centers. Well, the last thing a master would want out of a factory worker is for them to have, honor, is to be somebody who honors their emotions. Because when you honor your emotions, you honor your power. Think about it in terms of like power. Oh, and I want to make sure I don't want to forget. Thank you, Linda, for my brand new phone. Y'all love the phone. So when you think about like contacting each one of your emotions, or they're contacting you at any given moment, and the more you ever have like a baby around and they're like fussy about something. They're not seriously hurt, but they're just fussy. And then you just give them some attention and they go off and play. They're just like, okay, I'm done. I think that that's how emotions are, and it's not because they're childish or stupid or anything like that. I think that they want to be heard, and it's kind of like if you need to call someone, there's the phone. If you need to call someone and it's important and they don't answer or their phone is busy, you're going to keep calling back. You're just going to keep calling until they answer if it's really important. And I think that our emotions treat us as though we are that important, and they won't stop knocking until we answer. So I also wanted to offer something else up into this conversation. I have a couple of friends who, I don't know, I've just witnessed people recently giving a lot of their power away in relationships. And it's almost like there's a longing to get something from out there that is not being received from oneself in here. And I wanted to look at it in a kind of interesting way. One of the things that I heard that I really like about every tool that humans have ever created, every single tool is just an extension of what our senses can do. So we have a telescope to do something even more better than our eyes can do by themselves. They're just an extreme version of our eyes. A hammer can bang something, more powerfully than our hand. So every single tool that humans create is just to expand our sensory abilities. So if we start at that premise and we look at where technology is taking us to the place where it's going to be recognizing what we're feeling and what we're thinking. It's already doing that to a degree, and to know what we need, which in some cases it can really work. Let's say somebody is having, low blood sugar or whatever, it can really work on certain levels. It can be very dangerous on other levels because if the technology starts saying, oh, well, these people are getting these feeling states when they hear these people speak or these politicians speak, oh, that's not allowed. You can control people so anything can be used for good or bad. I'm going someplace good with this. Thank you for being patient. I think that when we lean into the conversation about the larger field of life, see what technology in those conversations does not take into consideration is the amount of love that we are created with and we are created by. I want you to feel into that there's an intelligence of love. It's a loving intelligence. And if there's loving intelligence in us, then that loving intelligence knows what we need. So I leaned into the technology conversation. I want to lean back now, and I want you to think about if it's true that there's a loving intelligence that created us, then maybe it's really important for us in today's world to balance our intellect with a sense of trust in that loving intelligence. Because without trust, without surrender, we're kind of imprisoned by our own intellect. And so when we think about the emotional scale, the higher we move up, the less baggage we can take with us. You can't go into moments of ecstasy and elegance and joy with a ton of fear and anger and rage. You have to drop the baggage. But in order to drop that baggage, it requires trust. And so I think I want to leave the conversation at that, because I can take it in a lot of different directions from here. I would really love to hear from you, whether you write something, in the comment section, or if you send me a private message. What are you hearing from this conversation? What is making sense to you? What questions do you have? What do you want me to talk more about? I love being in this pioneering conversation with you. I think we're at a place in humanity where, especially because of this year of social distancing, we are in a more ripe position to lean into our feelings than ever before, because we've had quiet time. In nursery schools, they have nap time. We've had nap time this year. We've had time to feel what it feels like to tune in and to feel and to listen. So that is a big part of what it means to honor yourself. And I think the more that we actually feel into this and do this, the more we're going to generate positive experiences in the world for ourselves, and it will ripple out. It will ripple out to the people in our worlds, and we'll become more grounded in our bodies again, closer to the earth. I heard it said the other day that I think America ran out of seeds, seeds, for the ground, for gardening. And if that happened in the last year, what's the impact of that in the next few years? That excites me, because we get closer to the earth, we get closer to ourselves, we become deeper and better and stronger listeners. And I think really, really, really good things can come from that. And we're already seeing that within our groups, within our joy-based living community right now. So thank you for being here. Thank you for learning and growing with me. And I look forward to seeing you at the next Joy Workout. Bye for now.